Good morning, Homeworthy. I'm Raven. Welcome to my home in Charleston.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi, I'm Raven Roxanne, and I live in Charleston, South Carolina, and I'm an artist. My home in Charleston is, I think it was built in 1875. It's Victorian. We did a renovation about 7 years ago. It's a little modern, but also trying to be kind and thoughtful of its history. The process of finding any home in Charleston is very challenging, also fun. We had a house on kind of the opposite side of town and knew that we were ready to sell that property. And we really loved this neighborhood. So at the time, my husband had a motorcycle, so we would drive around the neighborhood and like look at the houses and then look at Zillow and say, okay, that one would work, that one's too big, or that one's too small, or whatever. And we kind of knew that we liked this house just because we really liked the street. And then we got a call from our realtor one day that it was about to go into market. So we were able to scoop it before it went to market. And we really liked the house because it wasn't a Charleston single. This house is nice because the house is on, the staircase is on the side. And so you really get this like kind of modern flow, which is pretty unique for the home. And then we also, dreamy, there's triple hung windows throughout the home. It's very bright for a Charleston house because a lot of Charleston homes have just windows on one side, so the house next to it has privacy. But this house has a pretty good amount of windows on both sides. So the rooms are big, they're very airy. We lightened the floors, which I think are beautiful. So we took the original pine and just kind of sanded them down to their original color, and then did like a light wax on top. So they have a lightness, which you kind of don't see a lot in Charleston homes because they have that red, like orangey color in the traditional homes. Yeah, I think that this house is perfect for family, and it really lives in a modern way, which is a unique benefit with this house in Charleston. This is my living room. It's the front of the house. It has a beautiful bay window. We had a friend help us with the initial design. Her name's Melissa Sutton, and we call this the Melissa chair because this is her favorite chair. I think my dog pretty much lives in this chair now, so kind of his chair. This is my big plant. I think I've had this plant for like 14 years. Me and my girlfriend, it was like one of our first like friend dates. We went to a plant store, got plants, repotted them, and she's still going strong. So I'm very proud of her. And I just like spin her around each like couple of months to like keep her growing in different positions. This is a painting I did a couple years ago. One of my best friends, Blake, gave me some tulips, and at the time I'd been painting tulips a lot, but he gave me those tulips and they just were so beautiful. So I painted them and thought that I would sell the painting, but just never could sell it because it's just too meaningful to me. One of my favorite potters, Jenny Sims, and made those candlesticks. This is again another egg collective table, and then a bowl that my sister-in-law just gave me. I think it was for Christmas, and then we just like filled it with treasures. Which my son, who's 3, like this bowl gets used a lot because he just loves adding to the treasures and putting them all throughout the house. So, oh yeah, and then this is such a cool plant. It's a 200-year-old sage plant. My friend just gave it to me, and I'm obsessed with him, but I'm also a little scared of him because that's just 200 years. Like, that's a lot of responsibility. So my mom actually just recently fell in love with this plant and would have taken it from me if she could have put it in her car. But now she just like texts me once a week and is like, did you water your plant? And so this is my big responsibility other than my children. And then this piece is from my husband's mountain house, his family mountain house. They ended up selling a couple years ago. We took this piece from it, and I just love how quiet it is. It feels like the snow just landed, and it hasn't. Nobody's walked through it, and it's just this like quiet morning, which I think is a good tone for this room of entering the house and just kind of this like calmer moment. We used Portola paint for the walls, so it just has this like kind of cloud-like effect, and so I liked this piece here. This is a Frances Palmer vases, which I love her work and think that she is such a cool artist. My friend gave me this little bird years and years ago. Her family does pottery, I think out of Mississippi, and I just think this is such a beautiful bird. I love the glaze. It's just kind of creamy and pretty. This is a shark's tooth. We went shark's tooth hunting for Father's Day this year, and we really only found one. So this is a painting that I just love. I think it's John Mitchell is the artist, and he is out of New Jersey. I love his work so much. Like, I could collect them for years and years, but my husband gave this to me for Christmas, and I just like this tiny painting on a big wall. It's kind of cute. All right, do y'all want to come to the dining room? This is our dining room. The table is actually, my husband came from the Mountain House, the same one that the painting came from, and it's cool because you can put 2 more leaves in here. So I think we've had 23 people at this dining table, which is pretty cool. And then this piece is a gift that my husband gave me for Christmas. It's a BDW piece. He is, I think out of his studio's in Philly, but he has this beautiful store in Soho. But I love his work, so I was really excited about, I think his name is Tyler Hayes. I was really excited about this piece. This came from my parents' gallery, and I forgot the artist's name, but I think it's such a cool piece of pottery. I love pottery, and I could just collect and collect and collect, and I will collect and collect and collect. This is Melissa Wise. She's out of Asheville. Very cool potter. I have a couple of her pieces. This bowl came from one of my best friends, Blake, the guy that gave me the tulips. He just gave me this for my birthday, and it's such a large bowl, and there is a lot of citrus here. So after you leave, we will maybe make a cake. I don't know. I do make an olive oil cake out of using grapefruit, so maybe I'll make that. Or my neighbors will get a bunch of citrus soon. A lot of our pieces in our house are either from our family. So like this is my grandmother's couch, and then so this was like the starting point of this room. So how do we kind of take this kind of older piece that was in my grandmother's and like kind of make it work for us? So we kind of did more modern, like mid-century chairs, and then we had an artist make our coffee table. I think that I tried to like ground each room or each kind of space with something that is meaningful, and then kind of add to it. I think people are surprised that my house is a little bit more minimal than they would think because of being an artist and I guess my personality. But I keep saying that my house is gonna be really cool when I'm in my 70s. So I want to collect over time and just be kind of thoughtful and not. Each piece kind of. I don't tend to just finish a room. It's kind of is collected over time, definitely. Here's our kitchen. It is one of my favorite rooms in the house because it has a great, beautiful light. It has this big worktop that is so nice. We have the coffee station. We take our coffee very seriously, and I love that it's tucked in this little nook. One of my favorite pottery. I love collecting cups, and then when friends come over for coffee, being picking out the mug that I think that they should have. So this is one of my favorites. My brother and his wife gave me this one, which I love. This was Jenny Sims. We talked about her pottery earlier. Love her. My parents gave me this with the raven on it. This one is from my parents. I think this is the 80s, which is such 80s pottery, which is just, I love it. It might be 90s. I don't know, but I love that mug. This is a cool one. The way the potter, I think he almost used wood or something. I don't know, but I just think this is such a cool piece. But my husband makes me coffee every morning. I'm very lucky. So this is kind of his little station, which is nice. And I just got these. I think they're so pretty. Scared to use them though, but they're so pretty. And my little stack of pottery. And then, oh, I love my stove. It's the LeConte stove. Oh yeah, and then this piece, my friend Sully Sullivan, he's a photographer here in Charleston, and we wanted this big piece of art, big photo here, because if you, like when you walk in the front door, you see this piece of art. And so we looked through his catalog and we just couldn't figure out the perfect piece. And he was like, well, why don't we just make something? And we were like, that would be amazing and very cool. So this is an old building on East Bay Street. I think they're making it a restaurant, which will be cool. But at the time it was empty. And so they let us kind of, like all of this was here. I think he moved like one piece of furniture away. And then we had a friend that did the flowers, and then I twirled. One of my favorite spaces in the house is my playroom. It is so bright and happy and playful. And we spend so much time in that room because I have young children. So it just kind of is it's a very joyful room to be in, even before it became like the playroom. And now it is fun and silly and like not too serious. It also is our guest room. So when my parents come to stay, we we fold out the couch, and so it's really fun in the morning because it's where all their toys are. And then when grandma and grandpa, or pops and grandmama is what we call them, are here, they just get so excited to just run back there. So I think that room is probably my favorite room in the house. This room I love because it's peaceful, it's quiet, it's usually kind of clean, which less toys and mess in this room. So it is a nice quiet room for the eye. Welcome to the green room. It's our den. And I wanted it to just be very cozy, very cave-like. This is where we watch movies. A lot of the house is bright and airy, which I love, and my husband kind of likes cozier spaces, so this was kind of the cozier space for the home. It's right off the kitchen. We did green all over. It was my husband's birthday yesterday, and so me and my 3-year-old and 1-year-old made him a sign, which is fun. I don't know why data machine happened, but it's, 3-year-old's brains. This is a nest I painted. Gosh, I probably did that painting at least 8 years ago, but it is just very much how I want my paintings to feel, how I want my home to feel, just messy and beautiful and energetic and interesting, but also this warmth and coziness to it. So I've kind of always had this piece in my house. At the time I had no children, and I did 4 eggs, and now there's 4 of us, which is cute to think about. One day I'm going to make the album, but right now I just print the pictures and put them in a bowl, which has been really cute because my son loves going through them. And then, blocks to stack to keep them busy. And then a big bowl of amethyst from my uncle who passed during COVID, and then this plant that I really do need to cut. I know I need to cut it, but she's just become so weird and interesting and cool that I just kind of kept her in her weird state. So she should be coming up, but she's just weird and quirky, and we're letting her be her. If y'all want to come to our desk area, which is down the hall. So we added this kind of after we did the renovation because we needed a spot to do the mail, and honestly, this is kind of stacked up usually. It's pretty right now, but because we have guests. I know, and then my mom's been doing this great thing. So my mom's also an artist, and so she's been sending my son postcards, and she's doing one for each letter of the alphabet. This is English is courageous, so that's C, and then English loves dinosaurs, and this one's really cool. English is the best for B. So those are really cool. Hopefully she does all of the letters, and then I can make a book or something cool. Yeah, but we just kind of keep our books stacked, and this is kind of like a drop zone, work zone. This is where all the coats go and for during winter. And I loved doing the caning on the doors. I thought that was really pretty. Some more pottery, because I love pottery, my cookbooks, my changing table, which is this, and then we just added, it's just a IKEA changing table, but I added a skirt, which I think helps kind of make it more fun and cool and interesting. And then it leads into our playroom. Do you want to come to our playroom? Willie enjoying the sunshine. Always finding a sunny spot, right? Is there a playroom? I wanted this room to be like a garden room. So that's kind of why the furniture is the way it is. But then I just wanted to like load the art. So I kind of noticed that I actually really do like a blank wall being an artist. I think that having blank walls, especially in spaces that I'm in a lot, kind of is, if there's too much art, sometimes I feel a little overwhelmed because I think about art so much and think about paintings, and that's just like what I do for a living. So I loved the idea of this room just being like full of art. So one day I just want every piece, every wall, everything to be full of art. Again, I will collect over time. So right now this is my art collection, which is really fun. I got the black ducks because my son's first word was duck. So I thought that was cute. And it's a cool artist. Kate Boxer is her name, and she's an older woman from England, and I just thought she was so cool. This is where guests sleep. We just fold this out, and this becomes a guest room, but it's a playroom, so it's this room is just like used and chaotic and crazy. And last week there was like paint everywhere because my 1-year-old got this paint stick and this like colored on everything. It was very comical and very much like what you would see in a movie. And it came off really easily, which was nice. This is Alex Wagner. She is an artist, used to live here, but now she lives in Atlanta. But I had commissioned this because my husband's family had this really cool like shack beach house on Sullivan's that they sold a couple years ago, and I just thought it was the coolest house. I loved it. It was actually, I think, maybe the most sad when they sold it. So I commissioned this just to kind of like memorize. It had this like memorialize it. It had this like tiny little palm tree and then these pineapples made out of concrete. It was just such a charming, cool old house, and I just loved it. My brother made me this for my son because this was his favorite toy, and for like a solid year he just held this little blue sheep forever. So my brother's Baxter Wilson, and he is a great, phenomenal artist, and I really love that piece because it's just sweet that he carried this little blue sheep around. This is a really cool artist out of Key West. Her name is Susie DuPu, and she did all the textile and patterning for Lily Pulitzer in like probably the 60s and 70s. Anyways, she was a dear friend of the family, and she did, this is my uncle and his son in this piece, and I love this piece. I was really excited to have it. And then I bought this turtle off this artist from England on Instagram, and he wrote me, and I was just like, oh, I just love the turtle. I think it was like in the back of his studio or something, and I was like, can I buy the turtle? And he was like, I think he just wrote back, he was like, the turtle has good juju or something like that. And I just thought it was really funny and fun and wonderful. My mom painted this of my dog, Willie. Louisa Dunn, she's an artist here in Charleston. She's a dear friend. She's a neighbor, so I see her a lot, which is fun. I did the birds. This is just, I love this wall because it's just like people I love and things I love. So I could go on for days. And then this is a friend of mine, Teal. She used to live in Charleston. We actually went to college together, so we've painted together for a long, long time. She lives in Columbus, Georgia now, but this is one of her pieces. And I'm from Florida, so this feels very much like my hometown in Florida. So when she did it, I kind of was like, okay, and that one is mine. And then I actually just like kind of took it out of her studio and love it. I love it in this room. Lots of art supplies for the kids. Again, dangerous for keeping them out. Like, again, I should have learned my lesson with the 1-year-old, but it was fun. Big color pencils. Yeah. Oh, these pieces were from that beach house that they sold. These two floral pieces were in that beach house. And when they were selling it, I was like, I really want those paintings. And I think they just look so wonderful together. And I like how, like, I don't know, they're a lot, very joyful. Okay, if you want to, you can come to our bathroom downstairs because it has some really cool wallpaper. And then, and we passed the blue staircase, which is fun. I have always wanted to be an artist. My parents have had an American craft gallery for almost 49 years, I think. I always joke my first words were, hey, how are you? How can I help you? Like, I grew up in this space, like grew up in the gallery, grew up selling art. My mom's an artist. My brother's an artist. Like, we definitely are we like to paint and make things in our family. So I knew it was always going to be some part of my life, but I went to art school at Auburn and then went to Atlanta and had a couple different jobs, and then moved to Charleston and had some friends that were painting and had studios and creating. So I kind of got looped back in with them, and honestly, I have a great community of friends that are artists in Charleston, and then we all share a studio, and that has really, I think, I've always known I've wanted to paint, but I think making it a career and having a community around it has really helped the career like kind of take shape and take life, because I am kind of social, and I think that being an artist can be a lonely job, like you're in your studio making things all day. So having people around me and like a supportive family and living in Charleston has really made like it kind of solidify like why or how or if I could make this a career. So this is our cool blue staircase. I'm obsessed with the color. My husband also loves blue. It brings him a lot of joy. So we had this like cool weird staircase in the back of our house, and my friend Blake was like, what if we painted it blue? And I said, that would be amazing. So he kind of helped with this part. His name's Blake Sams, and he helped with this part of the design. He came up with the idea of doing cork, which I love because it kind of feels like you're in this like tree, very dark kind of cozy space, and then doing the blue staircase, which is brilliant. It's an Yves Klein blue, which there's like only one person making, or one factory making the actual color of Yves Klein blue. So we had to like order it from Paris, and they had to do like 10 coats, and it was ridiculous and beautiful and a lot of joy. And then we did this really cool wallpaper in here. It's a Pierre Freight wallpaper, and I think it's Picasso's drawings. And I think it's such a cool wallpaper. We just did this renovation. So Blake helped us with this kind of area, and he helped to renovate this bathroom kind of in the last year. The tub that was in here didn't work anymore, and so I wanted something for my parents that was easier to get in and out, so we did the standing shower. And then this actually piece was cool. This is from Thomas's, went on like an antique like shopping with his mom and found this piece, and so then we just made it into a sink, which is cool as kind of memory of her. But yeah, so it's a fun little bathroom. One of the best things about Charleston and the homes are the big porches. So we were really excited to have this porch. It kind of runs along the side of the house. But they're kind of skinny, so I ended up having to work with an artist to make, our furniture builder, to make a table that was skinny enough. So we used Ben Little to make us, or Benjamin Little, and he made us this table, which is great. So it kind of fits in, but like my kids can still take their like bikes and stuff and run around it, because they kind of like on rainy days, this becomes like a track, just like of all the running things where they were just running up and down the porches, which was actually really fun and cute. But yeah, so, and then we have a pool, which is nice. If you're gonna walk back here, you can see the pool. And then we have like 2 lemon trees around the pool. And then my mom, so my daughter's name is Sunday Clementine. And when she was born, she gave me a clementine tree, which is really fun and sweet. So, yeah. Welcome to the entry of my home. We actually just painted the entry. It was white and just painted it cord by Fair and Ball, which I think just like the perfect color for this space. It really warmed it up, but it's kind of one of those colors. It's a color without being a color. It's kind of dirty. It's perfect. I'm really excited about this color. And so when we bought the house, this was a wall, like where you're standing was a wall, and there was like a small doorway there. And so we added the arches, which are really fun. This light fixture is Workstead, which they're out of Charleston as well. I think their lights are manufactured in Virginia, but they're between New York and Charleston. These lights are so pretty. So Melissa Sutton, who helped me with the original design, who's a dear friend, the Melissa chair, She makes lights now, and it's called Rilo. They're out of Charleston. These are beautiful stone marble. Gorgeous. I was very excited about these two pieces. And then just like a little mirror that I think I found from a dealer in Charlotte. And I think it's like from the 70s. And I thought it was cool with our just little bench. And then this is where I keep all my stuff to walk my dog. We have a front door, and then it just kind of flows right into the kitchen, which is nice. We have a little Harry Potter closet that we like. I basically shoved a bunch of stuff in for y'all to come over, but it's kind of our pantry, and then you come into our kitchen. My signature style, or I guess my style, is like always developing. I think like with anything. Right now, I'm obsessed with working on raw canvas, so doing a lot of pouring. Really love Helen Frankenthaler. Like this is one of my pieces behind me. So I work on paper and raw canvas right now, and I've been doing that for years. I kind of go back and forth between like florals, or I think a lot of the things that I'm interested with why I make art is kind of like the everyday and making it beautiful. So like a grocery store flower, like a tulip that like I think is really beautiful, almost like the day you should throw it away, like when it's all wilted and like weird. Favorite time for the flower. So like that was, I like love doing that, or like painting that or capturing that. Or I paint these like abstracted bird's nests that are about like the messiness of home and how home and life and love is just not perfect, and that's where the beauty is. So I paint that series, or I just did a mother and child series, which was really fun, and that was new, and that was really just because like my baby is growing and like doesn't fit my arms the same, and just like wanting to like capture and try to hold on to that moment of them just like being small, because babies grow, and that is what they do. But and then right now too, I'm working on a tulip magnolia series, which is just like, that's like the first little bud of spring. Like, you know, spring's coming because there's like tulip magnolias. It's out my kitchen window. It's one of my favorite places. And they always bloom during my birthday, which I love. Oh, and the dogwood's blooming right now, which I really love. So just being like, okay, that is something that's sparking a lot of joy for me. Like, how can I bring this in the studio and capture it, I guess, is where I'm working. And then the way I'm working is a lot of like pouring of paint, and then mixing my own paints, and working with inks and acrylics and pastels. So kind of mixed media work, but a lot of times letting the paint kind of do the painting for me. So doing like pouring water and then pouring the paint in is kind of where it's like lack of control is where I'm like playing with right now. I hope you enjoyed my home tour, and now I'm gonna take you over to my studio. Hi y'all, welcome to my studio. It's about a 7-minute walk from my home, and let me show you the space. This is our common area. I share the studio with Blakely Little, Blakely Made, and is her website. And Lily Wallace's team, Megan, is also in this space too. So it's really fun. We have lots of fun, but this is kind of the common area. It looks really pretty right now, but usually this is where we pack and ship all the art. And then we have like little hidden cubbies back here where we just like do our, you know, like all the packing materials and our prints and everything like that is kind of tucked in here. But we have lunch every day here. This is like, if you miss lunch at the studio, it's kind of my most sad part of, it's my favorite part of the day. So if I miss lunch, I'm very sad. So, which is fun. We like a bunch of girls just chatting about like social media or like celebrities, and it's fun. Anyways, okay, so this is my space, this is my studio. I'm currently working on Tulip Magnolia series right now. So I'm kind of working, I work usually with things flat. So I either lift them or work from the ground. I like the ground because that kind of gives me a perspective of things, but I'm working with a lot of water, acrylic, pastels, and just kind of making this like kind of, I wanted this series to be like, if you, it's very polleny here in Charleston right now, and I wanted this series to be like, if you sneeze and you look at a tulip magnolia. So it's like very watery and like, just like kind of how the season is right now. So this is the series I'm working on right now. And then this is like a series I just finished. It was the mother and child. So it was just kind of, I think I talked about it a little bit earlier when I was at the house, but Again, this is work on raw canvas, and these are some of the bigger pieces. I think the purple one has sold. I think we're shipping her out tomorrow to Washington, D.C., but these two are going to a new store that just opened, and we're gonna put them in the space for Mother's Day, which is gonna be fun. I also work on paper. So I'm just starting a piece. I kind of like a shape for the background and then work from there. I mix my own colors and kind of keep everything in these plastic jars. So I can kind of mix like different types of paint or inks or whatever to kind of get the consistency I want. And then kind of store them here, which is nice. I love storing my pastels in these baskets with rice so I can like kind of see them and they can live in a way that is easy for me to grab. Oh yeah, here are some mother and child. So along with the bigger pieces, I did some drawings from the series, and I framed them in a maple frame. It's on an Arches like cream paper, which is one of my favorite paper to work with. A favorite paintbrush, so just a big pile of paintbrushes. My travel palettes for when I'm painting watercolors, which is pretty. Oh yeah, and then these are some of the paperworks. So I kind of start with the paperworks and then I move to the canvas. So this is kind of what I was working on before I moved to the canvas. I really thought this was cool. This was a super rainy day that I painted this one, and it just kind of like, I felt like I really captured that day when I worked on this piece. These is kind of how they started, which they were like very like kind of modelly and layered. It's where they were starting, and then I've kind of gotten away from this kind of feeling of like really layered and watery to like more of actually like capturing more of the flower. So, and also the flower that I was working with was more like puffy, kind of cloud-like, and then the ones that were like blooming in my yard were more like tulips. So I guess that's like more of I just different varieties of the flower. But then my assistant Ellie helps me, and she works here. The day bed I bought off a auction. I got really aggressive and didn't realize, I just kind of wanted to win, you know? And then I got it and was like, okay, what do I do with it now? And now it's in my studio. I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite fabrics. I bought it for my house, but my husband didn't really like the fabric, so I was like, perfect, it's for the studio, and it brings me a lot of joy, and I actually spend a lot of time there. A lot of time when I was pregnant was spent on that daybed. Yeah, but this is my studio. Thanks for coming. For me, home is messy, family, my animals, joy, and comfort. Well, Homeworthy, it's great having you, and I will see you next time.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.